Hello and welcome to Competology Academy. And today we are going to discuss one of the important topic in our the analysis series. And here this is related to China and its project, the dream project of Xi Jinping, that is the BRI initiative or the Belt and Road Initiative, or the project that will be that is also known as the Maritime Silk Route Project and Belt and Road Initiative. तो यहाँ पर एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज आ जाती है, एक इम्पॉर्टेंट बात याद आ जाती है। अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी ने जो कहा था कि आप अपने दोस्त चुन सकते हैं, पड़ोसी नहीं चुन सकते हैं। यू कैन चूज योर फ्रेंड्स बट यू कैन नॉट चूज योर नेबर्स। दे आर in existence naturally by circumstances, and that is why we have such kind of neighbors like China, like Pakistan, which are continuously creating the nuisance, the problems for India, and that is why we have to discuss them time and again. And now the new issue that has arisen for China, that is China has got trapped in its own net of the debt and the over investment or the ambitious investment, excitement investment भी कह सकते हैं इसको, in the global atmosphere, global economic structure, right? So let us start with this analysis. And here the first thing is that this is the Belt and Road Initiative, the whole map, in which around 155 countries till August 2023 have signed this initiative, this agreement with China to join the Belt and Road Initiative, and they've become a member of this initiative. And you can see that this Belt and Road Initiative encompasses 3 continents, that includes Africa, Europe, and Asia, and many of the island countries which are located in Indian Ocean as well as in the Pacific Ocean, South China Sea, and the other regions. So here it becomes important that this kind of huge project, this kind of huge investment that is being done by China, and that was started way back in 2013. So it was launched in 2013 by China, and it was a dream project of Xi Jinping to get the global hegemony with respect to economic imperialism, right? So here, as well as you can see that most of the nations which are in neighbor of India are part of this Belt and Road Initiative. Also, they had proposed India also to be part of this Belt and Road Initiative, and they were looking Kolkata port or the Haldia port as a part of this Belt and Road Initiative in 2013. But India had its own reservations, like the CPEC project that is running through the POK, the Pak occupied Kashmir. So India had said that this project does not upholds the sovereignty and integrity of India, and it is passing through the Indian territory which has been illegally occupied by Pakistan, and that is why India is not going part of this Belt and Road Initiative. First of all, you should respect the territorial integrity of India, and whatever the illegal occupation there has been by China, sort out the border issues, then only we will go for such kind of projects in which you are willing to be partner on the global scale for the economic activities, right? So here, apart from this Kolkata, they had shifted this limb or this notch of the BRI to Chittagong, to Bangladesh. So here India didn't join it. And if you go on to see that this initiative, BRI initiative, is also known as One Belt One Road Initiative, OBOR. In commonly, it is commonly known as the OBOR. And here it is a global infrastructure. Just the basic information about this initiative: this is a global infrastructure development initiative or the project in collaboration with many of the countries throughout the world. Specifically, if we go on to see, then 3 major continents, that is Africa, Asia, and Europe, are being a part of, are being a member of this initiative, where the infrastructure and the other things are being developed, whether it is railways, whether it is roadways, whether it is the maritime port connectivity. So such kind of things are being developed, and it was launched in 2013. And here till August 2023, 155 countries have joined this initiative. But these basic things were known to everybody. What we need to know is the thing that here total cumulative investment till date, although China does not reveals that how much investment China has made in this project, but various research organizations are there which are analyzing the investment, the type of the project that are being developed by China throughout the world, and that is why they are estimating the total investment. China does not officially reveals the investment that China is making in the BRI initiative. So here they say that cumulative investment is to the tune of 962 billion US dollar. You can analyze this and you can understand the quantum of that investment. It is approximately $1 trillion, and still the project is not complete. Still the Chinese government itself, or the China itself, or the other member nations have not started to harness the benefits of this project. And here also there are two parts. $573 billion have been spent in construction work, the construction of the infrastructure, like that of the railways, roadways, ports, etc. And $389 billion in the non-financial investment, that is the investment that are being made in the product development and the other things, right? And here it is a dream project of Xi Jinping, and that is why nowadays Xi Jinping is facing the backlash in his own country itself. Now the Chinese population itself are getting infuriated, are angry on their administration, their government, and they are thinking that this the dream project of Xi Jinping is ruining China. It is causing the drain of wealth from China. The investment that is being made by the Chinese government in the BRI project is not culminating to the intended profit or intended export or the intended increase in the employment for the Chinese people. However, China was trying to increase its global dominance through linking its economy to the other member countries, to the other part of the world, so as to have a kind of hegemony, have a kind of regulating power on these countries. And this has started to infuriate many of the countries, member countries, and that is going to be one of the major reason because of which the BRI project is failing. So what is the problem of the member countries? Now the question becomes, why the member countries are angry on China? Why does they are not willing to continue? Many of the countries are not willing to continue with this project. They are looking for a way out of this project. However, they have such kind of debt on them that has been imposed by China with the investment, with the loan they had forwarded, as well as the high interest rate that was attached with those loans, is the basic problem because of which they are unable to get out of this or back off from this project. So first thing is that they are debt ridden. Many of the countries are facing this debt problem. You can see the problem that was there in China, Sri Lanka. They had defaulted. They had to give the Hambantota port to Chinese government on 99 years lease. Same is the situation with Pakistan. However, Pakistan's condition is more of its own policies than Chinese policies, right? As well as many other examples are there, like that of Djibouti, like that of Sudan. So many countries are there which are reeling behind the debt, and they are unable to service their loan. They are unable to make repayment on their loan, which is becoming a big problem for them, right? And here high rate of interest that is attached to these investment is one of the biggest problem for China, the member nations. China was having a good amount of forex reserve, which Chinese government wanted to utilize to create a global economic hegemony. and so they forwarded the loan in aggressive manner to the member countries for the development of the BRI project. Although the BRI project was the brainchild of the Chinese government itself, but they were giving the loan to the member countries to develop the infrastructure that will be later on used by the Chinese government itself, as well as in the development of the infrastructures also the Chinese companies were getting the contract, the Chinese labor were working over there, the Chinese engineers were working over there, and because of that China was playing very tactfully. What happened, whatever the money they were giving to the member countries after the development of the infrastructure, most of the money was getting back to China itself in terms of the contract fees, in terms of the labor charges and the other things, as well as very less employment was being generated in those member countries where the project was being implemented. So for this matter, what happened, the local population of these countries started protesting against the Chinese intervention, the Chinese dominance in their countries, like what we see in the POK region, like we see in the Baluchistan region, like we had seen in Sri Lanka itself. So there the local population is standing against their own government because of their nearness to the Chinese government and because of their ill considered benefits that they will derive from the BRI project. And that is leading to the trade deficit also, because after getting linked with the Chinese economy, the Chinese import gets increased in these countries, and that is causing the trade deficit for these countries, the drain of forex reserve from these countries. And basically China was saying that the trade or the export from these countries will increase if they will be a part of the BRI initiative that will increase the level of infrastructure, the quality of infrastructure, so they will gain. However, the reverse has happened. Now the member countries are facing the decline of their native industries because of the flooding of the low cost Chinese products in their economy, in their domestic market. And with those low cost products, their local companies, local manufacturers or the industries are unable to compete with. So the trade deficit is increasing day by day with China, as well as China is bullying also. Many of the countries are facing the issue of bullying from China, because China says that you don't have to have a good relation with the US, don't go with the West. So such kind of bullying, such kind of dictation of the foreign policy and the other things, even in terms of economy also. The same thing has happened to Pakistan also. The nearness of Pakistan have detached Pakistan from the West, with which Pakistan enjoyed a good relationship earlier. But what happened, as soon as they started to line with China, the West detached itself from Pakistan. They reduced the aid they were providing, they reduced the trade with Pakistan. So such kind of things hampered the overall Pakistani's economy itself. And that is why now the Pakistan is facing the consequences of bullying from China. And even now the Chinese government is itself not willing to give the loans to the Pakistanis, right? As well as there is discontent among the masses in the member countries, as we have discussed. And here it depends on the Chinese ability and policy that will be formulated by China itself. If China will not be able to continue its investment, then definitely the BRI is going to fail, because till date the BRI project is not to that level that it can survive by its own. It can generate the income so that that same income can be invested back to the BRI project, and it will lead to the failure of the BRI project, like what we had seen in the CPEC project. CPEC project, China Pakistan Economic Corridor. What is happening? Pakistan itself is unable to service or purchase its petroleum and the other needs, food products needs, medicine needs. So, how could they invest in the CPEC project? And due to the rampant corruption, due to the intervention of the military officers and the other things, China itself have changed its policy with respect to the CPEC, as well as China is saying that already we are up to the half mark of the targeted investment of $65 billion in the CPEC project, and we have not harnessed any kind of that fruitful economic activity from this project. And because of that, now onwards, we will reconsider the further investment in the CPEC project, and that is because of the ability of China itself. Why? The economic problem is already going on in China itself. Why it is going on? First of all, falling domestic demand. Since the COVID-19, many of the economic activities are reeling in China. They are not to that level which it had been earlier, and because of that, China is facing the falling domestic demand, and that will lead to the economic failure of China itself. The GDP of China is getting lower and lower day by day, year on year, not day by day but specifically year on year. And IMF have projected that in the next year Chinese GDP will grow with only 5.5%, which was earlier was in double digit, above 10% in most cases. Even just before the COVID, it was around 8%, right? So this falling domestic demand and the deterioration of the housing market, this was the biggest disaster. Deterioration of the housing market, this was the biggest disaster for China. Like Chinese housing market had invested too much money in the development or in the construction of the housing projects, and because of that, what happened? The ghost towns have developed in China, because the houses in China is very costly, and many of the people who were employed earlier purchased the houses, but during the COVID they lost their jobs, so they were unable to repay their loan that they had taken from the banking sector for the purchasing of the houses. And because of that, they are saying that take back our house, we are unable to repay your loan. And because of this, the demand in the housing sector, demand in the real estate has deteriorated considerably, and now the real estate sector is making huge losses. Many of the real estate companies have gone bankrupt because of this. Again, this is causing a great dent on the Chinese market or Chinese economy, as well as the export is falling from China. Many of the countries are trying to diversify. Many of the countries are trying to diversify their import destination. So what they are doing, they are looking for other countries, other avenues from where they can source their imports. Now the Asian countries are emerging as the next destination. India is emerging as the next destination for the imports of various products globally, and that is again causing the fall of economic activities in China, as well as the exodus of various manufacturing sectors have already started from China. What is happening? Like Apple, Foxconn, many other companies are moving out of China. They are not looking China as a favored destination for establishing their manufacturing units. Earlier, it was having a favorable condition, but after Xi Jinping came to power, many of the policies, many of the things in China have changed because of the aggressive attitude of Xi Jinping itself. Basically, you can say that Xi Jinping have usurped the power in China. Now he is the leader for life. Earlier, it was limited to 2 terms, that is 10 years. So now his dictatorship, basically, you can say he is dictating his policies, his mindset to the whole of China. and that is causing the devastation of China. And now the people are also voicing their discontent, and very soon it may be so that you will see the next Tiananmen Square event or incident in China itself, right? So here the low foreign investment is coming to China, and in fact the exodus of the foreign investment from China have started. Now many of the investors, individual investors, companies, etc., are taking away their investment, taking out their investment, pulling out from China. So that is going on. And here the falling GDP, that this falling GDP year on year, the GDP is falling. This is again going to cause a dent on the BRI project itself, because when there will be no money, then how they will be in position to invest it anywhere? जब पैसा ही नहीं रहेगा तो लगाएंगे कहाँ से, राइट? एंड हियर यू कैन एनालाइज दैट, देखिए कितनी भी बड़ी ताकत हो जाए, कितना भी बड़ा आदमी हो जाए, अगर वो अपना अतीत भूल जाता है और अपने आपको भगवान समझने लगता है, बहुत बड़ा समझने लगता है ना, जब उसमें घमंड आ जाता है तो उसकी बर्बादी तय है। और वही चीज हो रही है चाइना के साथ। चाइना की इकोनॉमी इतनी तेजी से बढ़ी कि उसको लगा, ही चाइना स्टार्टेड टू थिंक दैट कि नाउ आई एम द गॉड, नाउ आई एम द सुपर पावर। बट चाइना फॉरगॉट दैट वेस्ट इज ऑल्सो देयर, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स इज ऑल्सो देयर, European countries are also there. So that thing is destroying that attitude, that bullying nature, as well as the stubborn nature of China. China has reached to a position where it thinks that I don't have to compromise with anybody, I don't have to negotiate with anybody. And that is causing the dent on the Chinese economy, that is causing the dent on the foreign policy of the China, and that is the region that will ultimately lead to the fall of China. That is going to happen sooner or later. So what is the trigger point? So the trigger point, definitely it will come from Italy. As already we have seen that Italy is contemplating to pull back from the BRI project, and Italy was the only G7 country, like the group of seven, the five most developed economies, United States, Britain, Japan, France, etc. These were the G7 countries. So in that group, Italy was there, and this was the only G7 countries which had signed this BRI project in 2019. ऐसा भी नहीं है कि बहुत पहले इन्होंने साइन किया था. Italy had signed this BRI initiative agreement only in 2019 after witnessing three successive recessions, and that devastating recessions. Before that, the Italian economy was quite good, but due to three successive recessions, their economy was deteriorated to such an extent that they had to look for a way out of that recession and to boost their economy. So they thought what, the investment will come from China through BRI, but later on they realized that the Chinese people are working in Italy on their project. They are constructing the project, the material, the delegate material or whatever that cannot be sourced from here are coming from China, and ultimately whatever the investment that was being made by China, that is also being taken away by China itself as the labor cost, as the material cost, as the project cost. So what we are getting? Native people are not getting, local people of Italy are not getting the employment. So this infuriated the whole Italian government, and the earlier government were also critical of this, as well as the latest Prime Minister of Italy. She is also a kind of patriot type of leader, Giorgia Meloni, and she have already mentioned it that we are looking for some other kind of strategic tie-up with China apart from BRI, and this was a clear-cut indication that Italy is going to pull out of BRI, and this will create a domino effect. Once Italy will come out of the BRI project, then other countries, other member nations of the BRI project will also start to look for some way out of the BRI. Like various countries are already there which are thinking that they are not getting profited from the BRI project. Sri Lanka is there, Djibouti is there, Sudan is there, various other countries are there. So this exodus, this domino effect of the exodus from the BRI project itself will start, and once it will start, then China will come to its knees, because this was going to be a like of ballooning effect on the Chinese economy, because through this China was trying to create its economic imperialism in Asia, Europe, and Africa. But if it will fail, if that is going to happen, it will fail definitely. As well as the exodus will start, then what will happen? The Chinese government, the China, will get stuck in the midway of this problem of BRI. Whatever they were thinking as a panacea for their economy will become a disaster for their economy. So this was the whole analysis related to the BRI project, and here we have started a massive giveaway of the complete study material of the UPSC books. Just you have to go on to subscribe the channel and write UPSC in the comment section. So once you will be selected, after we hit the 5,000 subscribers, then we will select the winner and we will provide you through post the complete set of the books of 19 books for the UPSC civil services exam, as well as two lucky winners will also get the prelims test series free of cost, right? So here it was a short information, and if you have liked the video, then please consider subscribing the channel and press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new videos. You can also follow us on our Facebook and Instagram handle, and you can also download our app. The link for this is provided in the description below, as well as the link for the website is also there in the description below. There you will get too much of the free resources for the preparation of UPSC and the other civil services state PCS exams, like that of the current affairs magazine, current affair test, NCRT test, etc. So consider subscribing the channel. Thank you very much, and join for the another session of the analysis, right? Thank you.